The Golf GTI, the daddy, SA's most popular hatch by miles. This is the 6th generation of Golf GTI, a whole 2 generations old now as the Golf 8 has just been released. That means 2 things. Number 1, it's a bit old, and number 2, it's very affordable nowadays. But just because it's affordable, should you just rush out and buy one? So when this car was new, it made 155 kilowatt, that's about 208 to 210 brake horsepower, and 280 newton meters of torque, mated to, in this car, a 6-speed DSG gearbox, double clutch, you know, the very troublesome one. That's the one. You also got a 6-speed manual, which I would personally prefer, but hey, it is what it is. Now when this car was brand new also, they claimed the 0 to 100 on this front-wheel drive Golf GTI, as they all are, at 6.9 seconds. Realistically, people were getting closer to 6, 6.2, 6.3, like that. I am not going to try that today though, because reason 1, I didn't prepare for this review, so my draggy is flat, and secondly, it's a blessing in disguise because I'm quite afraid of this gearbox to put a lot of strain on it, because hey, it's not a new car, 10 years old, and a lot of strain on this DSG gearbox, it's never a good thing, now is it? I think it's aged pretty well, hey. I mean, it's 10 or 11 years old, it still looks pretty good, it still looks pretty modern, it's got nice lines on it also. These wheels actually they've become iconic over the years, because on the Golf 5s and the Golf 6, people fell in love with these. They really took a good liking to them, and people miss them on the Golf 7 and now the 8 when you don't get them anymore. So unfortunately, times move on. So nice car, it looks aggressive. You have a little spoiler at the back, nice red accents all over, those signature dual exhausts at the back also that we've all come to know and love. It looks good, it looks aggressive, it looks kind of modern still, good looking car. The same can't be said about the interior. That looks outdated, it definitely looks old. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I personally like it. Nice and simple, easy to use. It's aged pretty well also, very comfortable. It's not bad, it's good, it's just old and outdated. What you gonna do? You move with the times. But it's a fun car to drive. It feels very nice, sporty. These seats are very comfortable. As soon as I jumped in the car, leather seats by the way, that's the first thing I noticed. Very comfortable seats. The driving position is nice also. You can go quite nice and low. It's a really comfortable car for a hot hatch, a sports car. The suspension is not that firm, it's not that hard. It feels light on the road, it's nice and grippy as well. Steering wheel is nice, flat bottom also, feels a bit like a Lamborghini, if a Lamborghini was slow. And it feels good overall, hey? It handles well, you don't feel too much of body roll. If you're going into a corner quite fast and you let off the accelerator, you actually get a little bit of oversteer, which is quite nice to have. In a front wheel drive car, usually you'd expect understeer. As soon as you let off a little bit, pulls you in the corner quite nicely. It's a very good handling car. It's what a Golf GTI is. I'm having fun with the DSG box, even though it's not my favorite in a hot hatch to have an automatic. It's fun to feel pedals this big and click them, and it's reasonably fast also, the gearbox for a 2010 car. It's not bad at all. I mean, honestly, not as fast as new, but it's adequate. It's enjoyable. You can actually use the pedals, and when the traction control's off, you actually get quite a bit of wheel spin from 280 newtons, so that's quite fun to have also. It's a good car, there's no doubt about that. There's a reason why it's fantastic, although I personally feel other hot hatches are just as good to drive, such as an Opel Astra, Civic Type R. I don't know if it's because those were all manuals that I've driven manual in this also. Those feel more involving to drive than me. Maybe not necessarily as good of a package put together overall as the Golf, but that's speaking from a car enthusiast perspective and point of view, you know. For normal people, this is probably a little bit of a better package put together. I like the steering on this car. It's nice and sharp, not the sharpest, not the most direct, but it's nice and sharp. You actually get a bit of feedback from it also. You can feel the road surface, you can feel what the front tires are doing. It gives nice feedback. So when you're driving fast, you feel like you know exactly what the car is going to do if you go into a corner a little bit faster than you should. Let's see if we take this corner very fast. You know what it's going to do, because on the full load I took the corner quite fast. You know it's going to understeer as front wheel drive. All you do is let off a little bit, pulls you back in, you're back on the accelerator and out of the corner. It's very predictable. It's nice to drive a car that gives you that much confidence and you know exactly what it's going to do. GTIs are known for having quite a bit of common faults. The biggest thing to watch out for is that DSG gearbox. They love to trouble. Make sure it changes smoothly and doesn't give any weird noises or jerks. Another big problem is the timing chain on these cars. They can easily give up with little to no warning, and in the worst case could even bend the valve, so quite a big problem there. High pressure pump failure is also a common problem on these cars. These are just a couple of things to look out for when you're considering one of these. They can be very costly to fix. Whenever I drive a stock Golf GTI, I'm always disappointed by them. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a good car, definitely. There's nothing wrong with it. But the way people go on about it, you know, when I jump in, I'm not overtaken by leaps and bounds that this car is so much better than the competition. You know, I find it kind of boring, to be honest with you, especially the DSG. It's just, I'm a guy who loves manual. Manual in this, definitely more fun. The DSG, oh my word, I personally find it really boring. So would I personally go for one? I probably wouldn't. My heart, I think, belongs to the Opel Astra OPC. I don't know what it is about that car. I just like it so much. I think it looks ridiculous, it looks insane, it drives so nice as well. I find it more fun personally. So I wouldn't just necessarily go out and buy one of these, and you shouldn't just necessarily go out and buy one of them too. You got to be careful of the problems we mentioned firstly, and don't just rule out the competition because it's less popular, like the Renault Megane RS and the Civic Type R. Those are really, really good fun cars also, and because they're less popular, insurance is a lot cheaper on those than on these GTIs. So I don't know, a stock Golf GTI, personally for me, is just not fun enough.